The sports betting market is currently changing forever, and Kalshi is one of the biggest reasons why. I'm going to show you exactly how to profit long-term betting on sports with Kalshi and how to follow some of the sharpest whale money in the world. But before we start, Kalshi is essentially an exchange. It's not a traditional sportsbook where you're betting against the house. You're essentially betting against other people. Now, because of this, there's actually no limits like there is on traditional DFS apps like PrizePicks or traditional sportsbooks like Hard Rock. As you can see, I'm currently limited on both, but Kalshi allows me to make as much money as humanly possible as long as I'm able to put down volume on certain bets. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. I've made over $40,000 betting on sports this year, and I can show you exactly how I'm not only using Kalshi, but other prediction markets and exchanges to make this kind of money. Although I'm limited on pretty much every single app in Florida, I'm still able to use these prediction markets to make a load of money every single month. Now, for Kalshi and other exchanges like Polymarket, we need to understand they operate in sense and probability instead of traditional American odds. So for you, the first thing you should be doing is going onto Kalshi right now and going to your settings and making sure you're switching it to American odds. That way you know exactly what the odds are that you're betting on instead of getting confused because the currency is slightly different between the markets. So now instead of seeing 21 or 79%, if you click American odds, you're able to see the exact American odds that we would typically see on a sports book like DraftKings or FanDuel. Now, one thing to notice about Kalshi is they actually show you the movement in the market as opposed to a traditional sports book. Now, the reason that traditional sports books don't do this is because it can actually help you out become a profitable sports bettor. But once again, Kalshi doesn't actually care if you make money. They just care that you're betting on their platform. So essentially what we want to do is use every single advantage they give us that a traditional sportsbook wouldn't. So let's take a look at the World Cup game today. As you can see, Ecuador versus Germany, we're able to see the yes on Germany or the no on Germany. Now, essentially what that means is the yes on Germany is the money line to win. The no on Germany is essentially Ecuador's money line to win. Now, if we go down and look at the spreads and totals, essentially it's the same thing. Yes on the spread is essentially Germany will win by minus 1.5, or the no on Germany is essentially they will not cover and Ecuador will cover the 1.5 spread. So once you understand, if you change cents to American odds and the yes and no's on Kalshi and Polymarket, these are the only differences when you're actually placing your bets, except now you can see sharp movement, you can see the market, and you can actually profit long-term when betting on these exchanges. Now, there's never good without bad. Although you can actually make hundreds of thousands of dollars on these exchanges, it could be a lot more difficult than a traditional PrizePicks or a traditional FanDuel. These markets are a lot sharper, and there are very sharp market makers on these exchanges setting their lines almost perfectly to the point where there is such a little edge on every single bet. But if we do compound this little edge that we can find, we will still be able to profit long-term like traditional books. Quickly before we continue, if you do want to try all of my plays 50% off, you can get the first link in the description and use code YouTube at checkout to get every single play for a full month half off. And you can try Upside Tools for 5 free days, and if you use code ICON at checkout, you'll get 25% off your first purchase. Now let's get back into the video. Now, two of my favorite ways to bet long-term on Kalshi is going to be EV betting and then following the whale sharp money. Now, I'm going to initially show you how to EV bet just like a traditional book, and then I'll show you exactly how to follow these whale bettors betting millions of dollars every single day. If you go to a tool like Upside Tools and you hit the game line optimizer, if you just select the book Kalshi, you'll be able to see all of the EV bets compared to the rest of the market. Now, as you can see, there is a ton of EV bets you should be taking, but you always want to make sure you're comparing to the sharp market. So as of right now, there's not a ton of games on, but what you can see is this game right here, the Australia versus the Paraguay game for the no both teams to score. We're getting a price of minus 137 on Kalshi and minus 150 on NoVIG, minus 146 on ProfitX, and minus 138 on Polymarket. As you can see, we're getting the best price out of the sharpest books in the world, which are these four right here. And then you're also able to see all of the soft market is all in agreement that about minus 160 is what this line should be set at, and we are getting minus 137. That's an example of an EV bet. We are getting a better price than the rest of the market, and we will win long term if we're able to do that consistently. So if we scroll down here again, we'll see the Texas Rangers versus the Blue Jays, minus 3.5 run line. We're getting plus 574. Right here, we're getting plus 506 on NoVIG, a very sharp exchange, and then plus 550 on ProfitX. Once again, if we continuously line shop, we're able to get a better price over on Kalshi than we are the other exchanges. We should be laying our money down on Kalshi for this exact bet. Another thing you should be looking for is cross markets with other books. Now, there's about a 7-cent discrepancy with Pinnacle, one of the sharpest books in the world. So we already know we have some slight of an edge, but what you can see is we have a cross market with Rebet and a cross market with this app right here. Now, what that essentially means is one of these books is off. If there is a cross market, essentially there's an arbitrage or a very close to arbitrage opportunity, which means essentially you can bet on both sides of the game and you will win money, which means one book is wrong. But if we have a cross market with two different books and these two books are closer to the odds of Pinnacle, we know that Kalshi is the one that's off, and we want to take this discrepancy and place the money on Kalshi. Now, another amazing strategy I use currently to win long-term on Kalshi is finding the biggest liquidity plays. Now, as you can see, once we select Kalshi, there are some really big bets that are being laid down by some really big whale bettors, and we want to follow this sharp money. Now, essentially what we are able to see with this whale watch tool is what price they're actually laying this money down on. So as you can see, at minus 122 on Polymarket, a sharp whale better just laid down $94,000, and another sharp better at minus 117 just laid down $330K on the under 3.5 goals for the Ivory Coast game. Now, a big recommendation I have is if you see there is a $500,000 of liquidity on a certain bet, line shop what market you can actually get the best price on. Now, as you've seen, minus 137 on Kalshi, but there was actually a much better price at the top of minus 127 on NoVIG. Why would you take the bet on Kalshi if you could just take the bet on NoVIG for 10 cents better, and on top of that following $500,000 of conviction? I heavily recommend this because this is one of the best ways to follow the sharp money, because not only are you getting the same price that these current whale bettors are getting, but you're actually EV betting to them. So you're following the market makers and getting a better price than them by just line shopping against all of the exchanges currently available, like NoVIG, ProfitX, or even Polymarket. Now, I use this strategy every single day to actually make thousands of dollars every single month, and I'm not even coming up with the plays myself. I'm just following guys that are laying down $500,000 of conviction and finding a better price, or just simply looking at the rest of the sharp market and getting a better price than them. Between EV betting and following the whale bettors, this is the easiest strategy to beat Kalshi long term. Now, in my Discord, we actually do all of this for you. We find all of the exchange bets between Polymarket, Kalshi, NoVIG, and ProfitX, and we actually place them in the Discord. We tell you all of our profitable signals, and we follow sharp money and find a better price, or we EV bet to the rest of the sharp market. We do all of the work for you, and all you have to do is tail every single day. The first link in the description will actually allow you to get 50% off your membership with code YouTube at checkout. Now, if this video helped you out in any shape or form, please make sure you subscribe, like, and drop a comment for the next video you want to see. And if you do want to try all of my plays 50% off, once again, code YouTube at checkout. First link in the description will take you there, and you can get every single play for the full month half off.